Welcome to McShane's Detroit in Black and White. Oh, listen, 3 days before the election, we hear Michigan and Trumbull, Allan Lengel, co-founder of Deadline Detroit, attorney Vanessa Moss, running for 36th District Court as a write-in. How you doing, Vanessa?
Good morning. Good morning to all of you that are watching Detroit Black and White. If you're watching this morning, we want you to hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button, subscribe and share. You can catch us on all social media platforms. You can also watch us live every Wednesday evening from 8:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. Every Friday evening from 8:30 p.m. to 9.
Is that Carl Marlinga?
Of course, yes, it's Carl Marlinga.
Hey,
And
didn't you get like fact checked?
10 to 11.
No, we live.
You guys got fact checked on Detroit News, right?
All right.
Okay.
Why are you lying?
We're doing a
Oh my God, I can't believe that you said that.
Come on, it don't matter. You know what?
Listen,
People
everybody
like.
have their own opinion.
Listen, this is why we love a live podcast. And we got Carl Marlinga. And obviously, you know, John James paid him to come down here to mess with you. We got Carl Marlinga, the next congressman from the 10th District, Macomb County. I'm not even gonna address that. How you doing, Carl?
I'm well. He says it's amazing that this guy John James has run the most deceptive campaign that you could possibly think of against me, and then he sends some person down over here to talk about. It's just turning the truth upside down. But it's
Well, I love it.
Well, let's
There
talk
ain't no
about-
question.
Let's talk about the ads. I've seen the ads and they've tried to demonize you and they'll say like you and Kamala Harris are going to ruin the border and you're dangerous and all that stuff. Let's talk about the
okay.
ads. that
So
they're running.
one by one. All right. For 2 years now, I've said we have to secure the border. The problem is we have people who need a due process hearing because if you come across the border and you claim amnesty, that means that if you go back, you're going to be tortured or killed. We don't want to send people back to be tortured or killed. However, less than 15% of the people who use that word actually qualify for amnesty. In other words, you come across, you're told by the smuggler or the handler, whatever, just say that. So it means that we have this delay. Now, you can't just send back everybody all at once because that means that you're sending a number of people back to their deaths. So we need a hearing. We need a due process hearing. So my solution has been, let's have the Attorney General appoint 8,000, I worked this out mathematically, temporary immigration law judges. I have a friend who does this, who's an immigration judge.
Right.
And he says there's only 600 in the country. They're overwhelmed. For a time being, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, if I weren't running for Congress, former judges like myself would be happy, free of charge. I wouldn't even charge anything. I would, just as long as somebody paid basic expenses, I would serve as an immigration judge for a year for the country to work through this backlog to make sure that the people who need amnesty are granted sanctuary because we don't want people tortured and killed. And then the others would be repatriated back. So I am not for open borders. I'm for a solution. Kamala Harris actually negotiated with 3 countries in Latin America to have people who are currently in the United States go back there. But the Republicans, Donald Trump in Congress said, this is too good of an issue. We don't want a solution before the election, so don't agree to anything. And so, but I think the ad that there, a couple ads that really drive me crazy, but he's got one saying a predator protector. In private practice, there were 3 cases, but only 3. But the people deserve representation. 3 people charged with criminal sexual conduct. 1 was found not guilty at trial. Another one I was just hired to help out with the sentence because he admitted he did something terrible, but wanted to be able to have some factors brought up at the time of sentencing. And the other person claimed that he was innocent, and his wife set him up with images that were put on the computer. The jury did not believe it, but 3 cases. Now, as a prosecutor, I prosecuted about 40 child predation cases a year. So over 20 years, that's what 8,000, I guess. No, 800. I'm sorry, 800 cases where I was the person prosecuting. as a judge, I gave the biggest sentences on these types of crimes. There was one gentleman, I use the term loosely, who preyed on his 3 children over the course of about 10 years. I gave him 25 to 100 years on each sentence done consecutively. So this guy is going to do 75 to 300. Now, will he actually do that time? No, but at least he can try. Okay, he's going to be behind bars for the rest of his life. So you take something that was my strength as a prosecutor and a judge. You do the research, you find that, on 3 cases in a 50-year career, this guy represented people charged with criminal sexual conduct. And you say that I'm a pedophile protector. It is insane. It is wild that and then, but what?
Can you explain to people why, and Vanessa could probably, you certainly can attest to this, why it's important that these people have representation and that
Sure.
in our system.
If all you do is you say, if you listen to the charge and you say, well, that person belongs in prison, then take Donald Trump as an example. As soon as he was charged, he should have been put in prison, because if a person is charged with a terrible crime, let's just put him in prison right away. Well, of course not. You give a person a trial, because you can be accused of something that you did not do. And as a result, you need defense attorney. And even in cases where you're not quite sure if the person is innocent or guilty, they're presumed to be innocent. And so a defense attorney is there not to represent so much the individual person as to represent the integrity of the system, that we don't just incarcerate people because somebody makes an allegation, that you work through the process. And a defense attorney is just as important as a prosecutor in making sure that there's justice. So,
But you know,
let me just piggyback for a second. I will say this: when people ask me that question, I say we live in the United States, and we have a constitution, and so the Constitution dictates that, you know what, if someone is charged with something, the prosecutor has to prove every element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. We also have a process. And so it's important that we make sure that we have the guardrails, because that's why you have the prosecutor, defense attorney, you have the judge, who have guardrails for the justices. So it's important that people understand that, you know, just because you're accused of something does not mean that you did what they said that they accused you of doing.
And people got to have representation. But let's get back at when Trump said at the border, we're going to deport all these folks. They just got an old playbook going back to the 50s when, you know, Eisenhower and them, they deported thousands of Mexicans, and a lot of them was American citizens. American citizens back to Mexico, people that was born here in the U.S., they deported them because they said, we're going to round up all these folks, and it's unbelievable that we're going to sit here and we're not going to say, damn, we're going to elect the guy that said, I'm going to take 10 million people and get rid of them.
each case you have to look at individually, one by one. That's why you need the immigration law judges, because you can't just say a person of a certain ethnicity or a person came from a certain country, therefore we got to do this. That is un-American. That is just immoral thinking. Each one of these people who come across the border has an individual story. Some will have to go back. Maybe even most will have to go back.
Well, Elon Musk should have went back because he came here and he came here as a student and he lied. And you know what? Listen, everybody played fast and loose. Donald Trump, of all the people, his mama came from Scotland. His wife came from where? Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, whatever.
Slovenia.
Yeah, whatever. And you know what? I'm just telling you. This is what we're dealing with.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say at the Madison Square Gardens thing, where that comic was trying to pander to the crowd by suggesting that Puerto Ricans are not American citizens, that they're immigrants, that they're worthless, when in fact they are American citizens. The ones who can move here tomorrow, and if it's still okay You have to establish residency or whatever, but you can vote anywhere. Puerto Ricans can vote they can't vote for president in Puerto Rico. They can vote anywhere in the 50 states or DC. And we've tried to demonize. My parents are immigrants.
We're all immigrants. Look,
and they came here and look, when we look at our so much of our service industry is, you go to hotels, you have immigrants working there, you have the fields, and if we don't have, there's some jobs, they're helping the economy and stuff like that.
I always said that when people get pissed at folks coming from Mexico across the border, I said they just trying to reclaim their granddaddy house or their grandmama's house in Texas, New Mexico, Nevada, California. Listen, this whole country is what it is. Carl, let me ask you this. How the campaign going, and how do you feel? Is this yours to win, lose, or draw?
it's going very well. No candidate has a right to or can be overconfident, but all of the things that needed to break right, that broke right. And the last poll shows us dead even, 47% to 47%. But the polls are saying that a breakdown of the undecided should go a majority my way. In addition to that, the Democratic Party, the DCCC, does analytics every day with the early vote. And right now, of the 181,000 people who have voted in the district, their projection is that I'm leading by about 14,000 votes.
Okay, what's the issue? What's the main issue?
Well, the analytics don't really show that, but we know from polling that probably the thing that is driving the most people to come out to vote is still the choice issue. I know that the abortion issue isn't on the ballot, except we have J.D. Vance on the Republican side having written to the Justice Department saying, enforce the Comstock Act as written. It was written in 1873. This is an act that makes it illegal to send anything in the mails or to promote contraception or abortion. And so we're going back way beyond just the abortion issue to contraception. So if we don't have a Democratic Congress, we are going to have an administration with an attorney general that, even without passing any other laws, can say Michigan's constitutional amendment for its own constitution providing for personal freedom and personal choice is overridden by federal law because this 1873 Act is going to be dusted off. It's going to be used. And I know people think, well, that can't be. No, J.D. Vance actually espouses that. There are lawyers ready to be appointed as federal judges, ready to be appointed as U.S. attorneys who will follow that party line that we can use this 1873 Act written long, long ago, dust it off, use it. And so the loss of personal liberty, the loss of reproductive rights is real. I know that Donald Trump right now is saying, oh, look, we're not going to go for a national abortion ban. But his vice presidential candidate says, no, we already have one. We just have to enforce it. So the very first month in Congress that Kamala Harris is there, we are going to repeal the Comstock Act so we get that off the books entirely, and also pass a law to ensconce the protections of Roe versus Wade into federal law so that it will dominate. Because look, there are 41 states across this nation in which abortion is still illegal for some periods of time under some circumstances. We here in Michigan are this island of sanity where we say this is a personal matter that government shouldn't poke its nose in at all. And these big government types, by the way, the Republican Party used to be for limited government, but now they are the ones who are saying, no, we want to use Big Brother to poke our nose into your bedroom to make decisions about your reproductive freedom. And that is the issue that drives people. The secondary issue I know in my county is still the fact that John James voted for an emergency measure to allow drilling for oil and gas in the Great Lakes. Now, it's supposedly only an emergency measure, but his thinking is that, well, this is going to help control costs because the cost of oil and gas is too high. But this is nuts. We would not get enough oil out of the Great Lakes to bring down inflation a penny. And besides that, the cost of oil and gas is controlled by the cartels anyway. And if we would drill more, Saudi Arabia would drill less. You can't fight inflation by drilling for oil in the Great Lakes. But the problem is you run the risk of an oil spill that would spoil the beaches on Lake St. Clair and Metro Beach. And think of Michigan's tourism industry. If you get an oil spill, you could kill tourism in Michigan for months or maybe years. You just can't go there. You got to make this kind of like off limits. John James and the Republicans are so tied into the big oil and gas people that they would risk even the Great Lakes in order to have no benefit.
Okay.
I have a comment. We want to do a commercial.
Yeah, we're gonna do a commercial. We'll come back. Go to you, go to Allan, and we'll come back with Carl Marlinga, Allan Lengel, Vanessa Moss, I'm Adolph Mongo, Detroit in black and white here at McShane's on Michigan Avenue and Trumbull. What was that?
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a ninth grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
With so many political ads right now, it's hard to know what to believe. You certainly need to know who the ad is for and who paid for it, so here goes. This is Carl Marlinga, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message. This ad paid for by Marlinga for Congress. Now that the legal stuff is out of the way, what you should know about me is that I'm a former prosecutor and judge. So actually, I guess that's more legal stuff. Look, here's what we really need. More straight talk, less partisanship, enforce the rule of law, prosecute violent criminals, and secure the border. But we also need to know where the law should not be, like a woman's right to choose. That's a big difference between myself and John James. He called abortion genocide and co-authored a plan for a nationwide total ban of abortion from the moment of conception, with no exceptions, even for victims of rape or incest. So now it's your turn to choose. I'm Carl Marlinga, and I hope I've argued my case well enough to earn your vote.
Hello, Detroit. Election Day is November 5th, but why wait? Beginning Saturday, October 19th, you can vote early at one of Detroit's 14 early vote centers. Early voting runs through Sunday, November 3rd, so let your voice be heard and vote early. If you're voting by absentee ballot, return your ballot as soon as possible. For more information, visit our website or give us a call. And remember to vote, because it's not only your right, it's the right thing to do.
Oh, we back. Vanessa, yeah, you got the floor.
Yeah. Hey, Karen. Hey, Timothy Square, Babe, Richard Huff, Dwayla. Listen, Terry McCormick wants to pose a question to you. He says he's happy that the Department of Justice is sending people to several polling sites and to make sure that there won't be any voter intimidation or suppression. Well, how do you feel about that?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm very happy with that as well. I mean, I think that voting should not be something that you have to work up your courage to get out to do. And I know with the amount of toxic disinformation and bad messages out there, that people could be deterred from going to the polls on the theory that when they get there, they're going to be embarrassed, they're going to be asked questions that they are afraid of, that they just don't know what's going to happen. And so in order to beat down that intimidation before it starts, let's have the assurance that the Justice Department will be sending out people to watch, to supervise, so that there will be no intimidation. Because look, it's a real thing. I imagine that if you're a white middle class or wealthy person, you can't even imagine, well, this can't be a problem. But if you are a new citizen, if you just had gone through court and got your papers now, or you're voting for the first time, you can easily be intimidated by thinking that they're going to question me and do I have my birth certificate? You don't need it. Okay. Or if you're a person of color. I mean, the history of discrimination is such that if you are not African American, if you're not a person of color, you just don't know as a white person what discrimination means. To walk into a place where people look at you and you know that you're being stared at. And if, in addition to that, there's some person saying, you know, you got to really check this person's papers, make sure that he's a citizen. You can easily just say, look, I don't want to go through this. And so people have to know that that's not the way it works. What I've just described, those things are illegal. If somebody engages in them, they should be taken, they should be arrested, and they, after a fair trial, they should suffer the consequences. You can't mess with the right people.
You know what? Let me say this. As a practicing attorney, and for the last 23 years, every election I have volunteered my service with the voter protection program to help some, make sure that the integrity of the election is intact. So, you have eyes and ears of attorneys all across the state that have volunteered to be at these polls, make the phone calls, hey, we need to call the police or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, I'm not doing it this year because I'm in the middle of my movement. But people need to understand that voting is a privilege, your right, and you should be able to exercise that without being bothered by anybody.
Yeah, no question.
Okay, today one of our viewers, Mark Adler, says, "Say hello to Carl. I worked on his recent spots."
Oh, great.
So one of the questions that's come up and that I've heard different talk about it. You obviously you don't have to live in the district to run as a Congress member. However, people in the district would prefer that. They'd like to think that you are, concerned enough that you live in the district. So John James has a residence in Farmington Hills, and he also has a residence in Shelby Township. Does he live in Shelby Township, or is that just to appease the voters in the district?
Okay. Well, look at the residence in Farmington Hills is no longer in his name. It's in a trust for the benefit of his children. So it's kind of a legal fiction
Right.
that
Very familiar with
yeah.
that.
And so we doubt that he really resides in Macomb County. However, we're not going to make a thing out of this because legally it is not technically a requirement under the Constitution. But yeah, he's kind of playing fast and loose with this. That while I no longer really reside in Farmington, my children do, and there's a trust that owns it. I don't reside there. I mean, I think people can see through that.
But Allan, even with the Senate, Hillary Clinton never lived in New York and ran and won. Bobby Kennedy never lived in New York, ran and won. Mike Rogers trying to do it now. Mike Rogers has been in Florida for 10 years or 15 years. But you don't have, people understand that. And I said, you should be able, to hold them accountable for living in a district. Carl grew up in Macomb County, prosecutor in Macomb County, judge in Macomb County, resident in Macomb County, father in Macomb County, taxpayer in Macomb County, and then you get this asshole because he couldn't win in two Senate races, saying, "Okay, I saw where the Democrats gave up on that seat, and they took advantage of it. Now we got a race, and they running scared." So, what do you need the last 3 days of this campaign, Carl?
But by the way, even though you don't really have to live, I think that there's a factor, maybe not 100% of the voters, but 10, 20% will say, look, I don't really care where you live so much as I want to know that you're being honest with me. That honesty and integrity are important in elections. And if you are pretending to live here and you really don't, that I'm going to count that against you. Not the fact that you don't live here, but the fact that you're trying to con me.
But you know, Carl, it's like you can go into Highland Park and you can smack on some folks and they say you're not from Highland Park. You can go to Ecorse. You ain't from Ecorse. You can go to Royal Oak Township. He not from Royal Oak Township. Why he doing down here? You not. Well, everybody's territory.
Anyway, but back to your question. In the final couple of days, okay, what I want people to know is that it still is important to get out. There are things that are at stake that once they're gone, you'll never get them back again. If you're a woman and you believe that your personal freedom, your reproductive rights choices are important, you can't let this election go by, because you could wake up in November and find out that people are now saying that the constitutional right that you thought you had under the Michigan Constitution is overridden by the federal law. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to see the environment continue to degrade. You want to see a strong economy. Take advantage of the fact that Kamala Harris has a serious plan to boost the middle class for the help in the down payments for the original home purchases. My particular plan, which is to offer swing loans for people when they're selling their house to be able to improve the house. It both improves their chances to have greater equity buying the next house. Plus, it also leaves the house behind in better shape. There are a lot of economic and moral and philosophical reasons to get up.
Let me say one quick question. We've seen Donald Trump go. He was in Warren the other day. What you say? He did win Macomb County, the majority in 2016, 2020. He also did. What's the feeling you're getting out there in terms of Harris and Trump in Macomb County? Do you have any?
Well, my district is not all of Macomb. I think Macomb County is about even the polling shows 49-49. Okay, it's nearly evenly split, which is a downgrade from Donald Trump in the past. So he's not doing as well. And by the way, I think in these final days, candidates appearing, look at, you're not either going to vote for or against Donald Trump because he made an appearance in war. Okay, I mean, your vote is already set. You know what you're going to do. So candidates will continue to do this. You've got to get beyond the follow-all of politics and think seriously about this, what this means for the future of your country and what it means for you personally.
So what is, you get elected, first day when you go to DC, what is the first thing you go to?
Well, the very first
Find your office.
The very first thing that I would do is I want to introduce legislation, to clear up our waters. I want to see a separation of drainage systems and sewer systems so that the waters that go into our lakes and streams are perfectly clear. I don't want the water to back into some people's basement. I want the waters that go into our rivers and streams to be as clean as possible. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to vote for a nationwide restoration of Roe versus Wade. I'm going to vote for the GO Act to protect the right to organize for union members. I'm going to vote for the Voting Rights Act. But all of these things are on the table anyway, so it's not my particular addition to it. The Clean Water Initiative is going to be the main thing that I'm going to be focusing on, but I'm going to be voting for these basic democratic ideas to ensconce personal freedom into law, to make sure that people have the right to control their own body, to make sure that our waters are clean, and to make sure that our middle class has a chance to expand, because we have a president who actually has actual plans to do that.
How do we get a hold of your campaign?
It's Marlinga for Congress. It's Marlinga, then the number 4 Congress. If you put in the FOR, the Republicans did this dirty trick. They bought up about 20 different names with the name Marlinga, so that if you go to it, you'll get misdirected to different sites. That's how desperate they are. But it's Marlinga for Congress, Marlinga, the number 4 Congress.com.
Okay, listen. Thank you, Carl, for coming, and good luck. And you know what? And I got that feeling you're gonna win this race. Anyway,
Good luck, Paul.
and we're gonna take a break, and we come back and continue the conversation. Detroit in black and white.
Michigan, this is Barack Obama. I want to talk with you about the Alyssa Slotkin I know. Alyssa is a true public servant who has dedicated her career to serving the American people, no matter who is in the White House. I saw that leadership and character up close. Alyssa is the kind of leader we need. Tough, independent, and effective. She'll get the job done. And she will make you proud.
I'm Alyssa Slotkin, and I approve this message.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We're live. We're live.
I
All
got a
right,
movement.
we are back.
I have a movement. I have a movement. The movement is to move Vanessa Moss out of the movement. Because, you know, because I don't love you anymore.
Yes, you do.
I
Yes,
don't
you do.
love you anymore. Not like before. Okay,
You
hey,
know what,
I
the
can't
first-
say.
We started off with fireworks at the show this morning. I mean,
What fire?
the guy comes in and
Oh, he
was
jumped
a
at.
hired hand. Yeah, he
Well,
was a
that
hired
don't
hand.
matter.
That was-
He's a real asshole. With
But you
people,
know what? That's what makes the show different. It's
Yeah.
live. We're in a bar, and so you know you should expect those.
Someone
things.
said
Well, you
the
would've
sound
been-
isn't right. There's an echo
Carl had
chamber.
been Leroy, would have been problems.
right?
It wasn't-
Carl been a Leroy, would have been a problem.
Did you guys catch that? It says sound isn't right. There's an echo chamber.
It's the background.
It's the background
Oh,
noise.
it's the
I got it.
background.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have not.
That's why we'll be at the Guardian building next week.
Okay, well, you just love the garden.
Well, I just like good sound.
No, he
I-
likes the
I like
he
the
likes the
environment.
sterile
He's-
environment.
No, I mean the environment's great here, but it's also like people have to the idea. of-
Well, I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna tell you, they got we got soccer here and all kind of shit.
He was coming out for soccer matches.
We are who we are.
Well, I mean,
We are who we are.
Yeah.
Allan,
Hey,
Allan,
we
fucking
can always do
Lengel.
better.
Okay, but anyway, Eric, come on, Eric. You
Are we going to talk about our outrages?
Yeah, we're gonna do our
Yeah.
outrage because we haven't done an outrage in over a week now.
Who
So,
cares? You
Listen,
care?
it-
I'm
it gives-
outraged
it
that you haven't did
Do
an
you have an outrage?
I thought you were gonna
Go
say you
ahead.
outraged that I had to have a movement for a write-in. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Okay, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
So my outrage, just to cut it up a little bit, because we have been talking about politics
You back on there?
every single
Yeah.
day that we're on. My outrage has to do with the story that I read last week. This family in New Jersey, they went to their loved one passed away. They went to this funeral home, right? To take care of the arrangements, and they see their loved one. Well, the loved one clothes his outerwear on somebody else, and so they said, "Listen, this is not." I'm going to say Uncle Leroy. This is not Uncle Leroy. What is this? And the people at the funeral home were like, "Yes, it is." And they, "No, it's not." And, "Yes, it is." And they do a text messages
Yeah,
back
I
and
can
forth.
vouch for that. That's it.
And of course, it was not the individual.
Who
So
was
these
it?
people had, I don't know who it was.
Frankenstein?
You talking about the casket?
Yeah.
In the casket. That's outrageous. So this family came. I'm laughing because it sounds ridiculous. It really is outrageous. This family has a loved one. They made arrangements for them to be put away. They go to the funeral home, and we've all been through it. We go to the funeral home, you get a chance to view the body, and you say, "This is not.
We fact check that.
This is not."
That's not real.
Don't play. There's a lawsuit. Oh,
That's
you
not
you
real.
talking about the guy, okay?
It's fact. It's
Right.
fact check.
Right.
That's not
So,
real.
It's not funny, but that is outrageous.
No question. Allan.
I'm going to say, this isn't so much an outrage as a concern. I mean, there was a student at the University of Michigan who is not a resident.
Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese fellow who decided to. He showed his ID. He lied about that he was a citizen, and he voted. And now they've caught him, which says something about the system being. But
And the vote count.
at this, yeah, and the vote counts because it's not marked. His name is not marked with that ballot, so that vote is going to count. But I think it's a concern when you can do that, and I don't know how. I mean, whether the computers now, when people register, maybe they can compare to the citizenship.
How many times
It's rare, but nonetheless, it's a flaw in our system there, which we have to
Are you
address.
outraged? Have you lost sleep over?
No, I'm not outraged, but a little bit. It only fuels the whole narrative that's going on that Donald Trump is telling everyone. We've won this race. If we lose, it's only because they cheated. We're way ahead, which isn't true. He says, I'm 97%. You know,
I used to play cards with my father, and when I know he was losing, he started coughing. Because he just listen. And then when he loses, he was he greatest guy in the world. He throw the cards in because he don't like to lose. And that's why I got it. I hate to lose. My mother told me one time, you're a poor sport. You should be like the family down the street. They're good losers. I said, yeah, they losers. She never said nothing else again. Listen, I never like to lose. So, you know what? It is what it is, Eric.
Now, my outrage goes out to Michael Jordan, not the basketball player, but the pastor at New Era Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama.
That's my cousin.
Okay, well, you need to talk to your cousin. Well, y'all need to talk to your cousin, because to put up on your marquee telling black people that they're stupid and ignorant if they vote for Trump is just the height of hypocrisy, because you're no different than the MAGA people you complain about, because this is what he said was, attention to all blacks who plan to vote for Trump. You are ignorant and stupid. Fuck Michael Jordan. I don't give a damn if he is a pastor.
But
Fuck
let
Michael Jordan.
Let me ask you this. You ever heard of Vernon Johns?
No.
Vernon Johns was the pastor before Martin Luther King when he came to Montgomery.
Oh, that Vernon Johns, okay.
Right. He was the pastor, and he used to put on his signs, calling them Uncle Toms, all kind of stuff. He wouldn't he wouldn't move to the back of the bus and all that. He'd been arrested, all kind of stuff. So people have been doing this for a long time. So it ain't new. It is not new. If you can dish it out, you should be able to take.
No, but in this day and age, of division, there's no way in hell that a person of God should be endorsing this type of message. I'm sorry.
Listen, the black church, especially in the South, and I know you know this, is the bastion of
the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
And so
he playing politics. He playing politics. That's why I'm not a religious person. So listen, I can give a fuck what he does.
The candidates of all. I mean, look, Trump has said you're really. Trump's saying basically you're not a Jew if you vote for the Democrat. You're really not Jewish. Biden had said something about black people. You're not. I can't remember. Black. Yeah, you're not black. The candidate people talking absolutes like that.
Like this. If me and you debating, and I said, Allan, I'm more Jewish than you, what would you say?
I'd say Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Atah Eloheinu. Yeah, you know.
What is that?
We said
Adolph knows the prayers. Adolph used to go around in high school saying
I knew all of it.
He'd go Baruch Atah Adonai.
But the bottom line is, and my outrage is the media. I'm tired. That's why I'm watching Gunsmoke, Alfred Hitchcock, Rifleman.
What are you watching, Alfred Hitchcock? What have you watched?
Right. Listen, they show the same shit over and over again. Bull. Never watched any of these shows until you know what? I tried to watch the news the other day. 30 commercials. Listen, do you get tired of it? You get tired of it because they said, oh, they got 3 for Harris, 3 for Trump, and then never in my lifetime, and I've been a political consultant a long time, where I saw state reps, they beating up on the state reps and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, who gives a fuck about Jamie Churches and all these other folks? Downriver, upriver, Tom Barrett. I'm knowing all kind of folks oh, this guy, he gonna listen. Then they had a guy say, listen, they don't know Father Time he raped me. I don't. Do you want to hear all that shit?
Well, you know,
that's why you watch it Gunsmoke, right?
Right.
That's why
Well,
I
you
like
yeah,
Chester and Fat. Oh, Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty is a
But
player
you know what?
name.
I was just getting ready to say that. I said,
No, Miss
Kitty,
Kitty
but-
on Pine Road.
Right.
isn't she?
No, that's
She had
Ben.
the role
Ben
in the
Cartwright
baby.
had 3 women,
Right.
and he killed all 3 and had 3 sons.
our
That's
TV
what
critic here.
But anyway, and here we are. 3 days before we have an election. Have an election. So, Allan, your call.
Well, I was just
Go
going to
ahead.
say, look, we've seen all the ads, and depending on who we're
I'm
rooting
tired
for.
of that.
Yeah, I hate it. But the one thing that I'm surprised that
Tired of that.
there are ads are misleading and stuff, but I think the most purely bigoted ad is when they talk about the transgender, and we talked
When
about
they
the
had
other
a
day.
50-year-old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end they say Kamala Harris is for they and them, Donald Trump's for you, and you can replace it and say Kamala Harris is for black people, Donald Trump's for you. Kamala Harris is for Jews, Donald Trump's for you. I mean, there's such a bigoted message there that these people are not real people, that they're not worthy of representation. And I'm surprised
But
he gets away
when
with
you
that.
get somebody like Bruce Jenner, who's transgender, who goes right with
But the bigoted ads are on both sides,
What are the
because
other, tell me what I'm just curious.
from the start on July 21st, it has been about using a particular demographic group because they saw how they were trailing in the polls prior to that. So whenever people make this issue about black men being a problem, no, black men wasn't voting for the old guy. So just because you replace him and supplanted him with her, it's still a matter of black men don't give a damn about the Democratic Party anymore. And to make an issue out of that is just amazing. Well, enough black men should not be giving a damn about the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party ain't doing shit for black people. I don't care what nobody say. Debate me all you want. They continuously use a particular race, and people fall for that bullshit. It's a damn shame. I changed it up and said, I say for myself, I don't give a damn about neither party. Let me make that very clear. I don't give a damn about Republicans or Democrats. I have not voted that way since 2012. So the bottom line is people fall for this bullshit trap of politics and two-party politicism, and it's straight up bullshit. People continue to be bullshit.
But I fall for it because
let me say something about I'm getting ads in the mail, on text, saying they're going to take away your menthol cigarettes while everything's going on, and it's clearly aimed at black people who 80% who smoke menthol cigarettes.
They do.
Yeah, well, that's a statistic. That's the statistics that
But it's no different than the stupid ass. It's no different than stupid ass saying that we'll be back picking cotton. That is the most disingenuous. Anyone that thinks that way, you're already a damn slave to even believe that. And for people to parrot that bullshit speaks out.
Where did you see that? Was there an ad?
Listen,
I
Eric,
believe
let
you.
me say
I
this.
believe you. Just tell me.
We have a viewer, bless up Kev, and he said, where are the people that are still independent at this point in race? Hey, bless up Kev.
What'd you say?
Right here.
What'd he say?
He said, Eric Brown. He said, where are the people that are still independents at this point in the race?
Well, listen,
We have one right here.
I'll
fight
fight
independence.
But I fight for the right. I fight for the right of Eric to say what he say. I'm gonna vote for what I'm gonna vote for, even though I know the Democratic Party can be a piece of crap of shit. But I'm
No, can be. The Democratic Party is a piece
They
of crap.
are my piece of shit, and I'm voting for them, and I love them today. Right? No question. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna continue the conversation. Eric Brown, shit starter. Vanessa Moss, she's a shit starter. And Allan
Eric
Lengel,
Brown, truth teller.
Yeah, right. Allan Lengel, who is loved by a lot of retired media people. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Moss. I have over 4,000 signatures that say I should sit on the bench in 36th District Court. But the bureaucrats had me kicked off the ballot because they don't want you to elect someone who stands for fair and equal justice. And as a defense attorney, I've experienced injustice firsthand. Join the movement. Write in Vanessa Moss. Write in Vanessa Moss for 36th District Court. Remember, Vanessa Moss.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
we are back. We are back here with Monique Bryant, who's the school board candidate. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So my name is Monique Bryant, and I'm running for Detroit School Board here in Detroit. I have over 15 years of experience in the schools system, in engagement, which is something that we lack on our current board. We need someone on the board, such as myself, who will bring the voices of those concerned about education to the table on the stage.
So, you know what, Monique, I've had this conversation with several people. I don't understand how you can have a position and underperform time after time after time, and you continue to hold that position. I think that you need a board that will hold this individual or individuals accountable.
You're talking about the superintendent?
You can read
say
it
it.
between the lines.
Well,
You can read it between the lines. I think that we need a board that is bold, that is really representing the people and the concerns of the people. They want their kids educated. Those test scores are horrible. And I understand that you are one of those individuals that believe in accountability.
I certainly do. And I will say I've been engaged with this board and this superintendent since 2017 when he came in. The one thing I see from the board perspective is we've had no measures of performance. None at all. How can you have someone that is superintendent of the year with the kind of dismal results that we have? And then people tend to forget we have over 100,000 students that live in the city of Detroit, and only half of them attend schools in the district. Our attention and focus, yes, is building, curriculum, so we're educating our students, but we're not going to bring other students back into the district, which is where we need that funding increase, that funding gap.
What if you had to give the superintendent a grade over his time? What grade would you give him?
So overall, and I've had discussions with the superintendent and different issues. I would be like a D-.
And because of all the performance?
Well, not necessarily the performance, because apparently he's doing the job that the board feels that he's doing correctly. So I can't check him on that. But in terms of his administrative, our teachers, when we talk about pay, but the lack of respect for our teachers and what they do and what they bring to the classroom every day, the fact that, he as the leader and the face of the school board, face of the district, does not come out to schools unless it's a photo opportunity, in my opinion. How can you make decisions when you're not out talking to students, parents, and the community?
So this, for me, this says, because we talk about this all the time. We could talk about the top of the ticket, right? But politics are local. Politics are local. This is where it makes a difference with people like yourself, myself, that are running for office. People need to understand how important it is. Okay, you talk about the top of the ticket. We need to look at the lower part of the ballot. And we need to look at, listen, again, I have a problem with somebody being employed and not being called on the carpet and continue to have a job and you have a D. That's a problem.
And even further than that, you know, in the elephant in the room that so many, I've been to a few DPS candidate board forums, and the elephant in the room that so many people choose to not want to address is this. A school board, no different than a university trustee board, governor board, region board, are the hirers of the superintendent, of the president. What I've seen from this particular board, they think they work for him and not the other way around. And that's something that needs to change. And, you know, like me and Vanessa had a conversation about you last week, and I was telling her what needs to happen when it comes to putting people and electing people to this board. You have to look at what they've been doing in the community prior to putting their name on their ballot. And I have to give you kudos. We've been Facebook friends since I've been on Facebook in 5 years now. And I've admired you, I've respected you, what you're doing in the community, and that's what matters to me. I'm not a voter in Detroit, but I have told those that do vote in Detroit, Monique Bryant is someone you need to be voting for. These are type of people that you have to pay attention to what they're doing in the community prior to asking for your vote. Same with Vanessa. She's running for judge. When I was out getting signatures with her to be on the ballot, the first thing someone would ask me is, well, what has she been doing? Don't ask me that you're walking away. Stand up and have a conversation with me so I can tell you what someone is doing.
Well, I would totally agree. And the fact that we have a race of 22 people,
which is a joke, should have been a primary to where you get down.
I would say like 7 or 8 people I've never seen before. They don't have any campaign literature out. For the other candidates, this is indicative of the fact that people are so dismayed with what we're getting at the educational system in Detroit. But also, our community is so disconnected. When we go to forums, I mean, we pretty much get the same questions about chronic absenteeism, the literacy rate. But my question is to those in the audience, where have you been? I've not seen you at a board meeting. I've not seen you at a community meeting, which is 4 times a year. When is the last time you've been in a school?
100 Black Men did ask us a good question.
Well, absolutely. But I'm just saying, when you come to a forum, these individuals have been totally disengaged, and it's by design. We have a community engagement office that has a high big budget, and yet we don't have PTA in every school. We do not have a school advisory board, and that's the one thing I really hold. And it's been over these past 8 years, 10 board members. They voted for that in 2020 as part of the blueprint for this district to give parents in the community the voice to speak.
Monique, I have a quick question. How many candidates are there? I know there's a bunch of candidates running. How many are going to be selected? How many can voters vote for?
There are 3 seats up. 3 seats up. We have 1 incumbent running, and you will definitely have two members.
And so how many candidates total are there?
There are 22.
Wow.
Yeah, 22. What I also find, and I've said this, I stand on what I stand on. Listen, electorate, stop voting for people who play musical chairs with these political seats. Hold these people accountable. Hold them accountable. Stop voting for people just because their names sound right and they said they did this, that, and the third. And yes, I'm saying it. Yes, I'm saying it. Thank you.
And the people.
So can you clarify? You're saying that.
No, it's clear. They know what I'm talking about. It's very
So
clear.
you have individuals and they clearly play checkers every other year. We had some individuals that withdrew that, you're on the board, you're off the board. You have some, I think, have aspirations for other things, but you figure the school board is a jump off.
Right.
When you look at the type of money that's being raised, come on. It's political dollars helping to put you in the seat. When you talk about the endorsement, I mean, since we're just keeping it real, you have 22 people. And I'm not mad about not having endorsements because my endorsements come from the students
And the people.
and the people I work for. But when you don't put a call out to interview individuals that have been doing the work in the community, what are you saying? And then you want me to buy the endorsement pretty much?
Right.
I can in my own
You
material out. I can knock on my own doors. And half of the time I have spent in the neighborhoods, most Detroiters don't even know that there's a school board race. And when I ask those people who come up to me like, why am I running? I ask them, can you name just 2 board members out of the 7 that are sitting? They don't know, not one person.
And not just that, just like on August 28th, when the state school board test scores came out, that was on the 61st anniversary of the March on Washington in DC. The deafening silence from the community, as well as the superintendent talking about a 0.4% increase in scores that were lower than they were before the pandemic, that speaks to my commentary all the time. It's not just the elected or the candidates that are the problem, the people are the problem.
And how about this? Now he wants to pay $2,000 stipend to high schoolers for literacy.
Right.
Number one, they're on the way out the door. You're not going to engage them enough. And as a parent, I've not received any information other than hearing it in the news. When did you? And I consider myself a pretty darn engaged parent. I have the Power School. I get text messages, emails, nothing. But yet my daughter's sitting in the car next to me and said, "Oh, I got to fill out, for this literacy." How are we paying students? Well, how are we determining who needs help in what areas and who is making this money? Now, Beyond Basics got a $12 million contract 2 years ago, and the superintendent's wife worked for that company.
Right.
They were over at Osborne. Students were supposed to be able to be 2 years, pretty much guaranteed
Increase.
We've not heard anything on that. Where is the board? I don't even believe that they even look at the data. And everyone you say, "Oh, this superintendent is data driven." On what? What numbers are you looking at?
Yeah.
I see individuals that are just, as people say, given the rubber stamp. They do not care about the students in this district, and their deafening silence and the fact that they are not coming up off that stage to go into a school is very profound.
So,
Okay,
Sister Brian,
we
we
gotta
got to wrap up. We
wrap
got to wrap up. So, in parting, how can people get in contact with you these last few days? And that's it.
Okay, so again, Monique Bryant, and you can visit my website, votemoniquebryant.com. My email address is monique4education@gmail.com. And you can just Google me. I have several Facebook pages, Instagram. I'm out here doing the work. I'm not hard to find.
Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank
God
you.
bless. All right.
All right, so we are gonna wrap it up here, and we want to do a quick commercial before we do one commercial. And then
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a 9th grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Somebody else made a comment about
Marlon paid.
Yeah.
It was paid to say that.
Marlon
black
was not
voter.
paid to say that. Marlon Holt, thank you so much
Somebody
for the
say what?
compliment.
Are you
Yes,
back?
I am back.
No, we not.
And I can't wait for Tuesday. I hope you are telling your people about my movement. And I hope that these people are writing in Vanessa Moss. I even had the merchandise. Writing in Vanessa Moss and darkening that over for the non-incumbent seat for 36th District Court. And like Sister Brian that just walked away, I don't have any endorsements, but I have hood endorsements.
And Elon Musk is offering $1 million for the first 10 voters who write her name. So, anyways, well,
But my final comment, you know, they're gonna shock the world today. Michigan over Oregon. Peace.
What's Oregon rated?
They're number one. They won't be after today though. Michigan over Oregon.
Wow. What'd you think of the game, the Michigan State, the Michigan game?
It was a good game. You know, unfortunately, at the end of the game, you had the practice that was unnecessary, but that's the beast of a rivalry that is Michigan and Michigan State. No different than Auburn and Alabama.
Okay, well.
So I'm going to say, listen, if you're going out to vote today in the city of Detroit, I want you to go to the downward part of the ballot, the judges. Listen, vote for Vanessa Moss by writing in Vanessa Moss and documenting that open for 36th District Court, the non-incumbency. But also, we're going to have a show on Tuesday. We're going to have a show on Tuesday. Huh?
Monday.
Oh, we're doing it Monday. He told me Tuesday.
Monday.
We're doing the show on Monday at 8:30 p.m. in the evening. So make sure that you guys watch us on Monday evening at 8:30. I can't tell you, Marla, whether or not I'm going to be here Monday. I may be out still doing the last.
And tomorrow is the last day of early in-person voting.
Across the state.
Yeah, across the state. So if you want to get it done early, you can still drop off your absentee ballots. I suggest at this time you don't mail them, that you drop them off either at a drop box or actually go inside and drop it off there.
And it ends at 5:00 p.m. in Detroit tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
We're going to thank everybody for watching. Karen, Dwayla, Marlon, Terry, Kev, I forgot what the first part of it is. Bridget, Dwayla, smash the number. Thank you. And Burdell. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jim and Letty T. We'll see you on Monday night.